China is expecting its giant pandas back. Black and white guests, favorites at zoos in the United States and Britain, are expected to return to their home countries by the end of next year. Analysts suggest this could be a possible change in China's approach to panda diplomacy. In Washington, 3 at the National Zoo are scheduled to depart for China on deck 7 as their loan agreement expires. Only 4 pandas will remain in Atlanta, and unless a new agreement is reached, they will also leave next year. Britain and Australia will lose their last 2 pandas next year if the current agreement is not extended. There is currently no agreement to replace any of these. Unless it is extended, United States will face the possibility of not having giant pandas for first time since 1972. This is perhaps Beijing's way signaling to West that they may not be very happy with way things are going, said Chee Meng Tan, an associate professor at University Nottingham in Malaysia who studies term panda diplomacy. 2. Describe Beijing's decades-long strategy giving or lending gifts to bears in hope building relationships with other countries. Tan said Beijing has become increasingly frustrated with how relations between China and the West have deteriorated in recent years. This might be a way of telling people, "You're not being very nice to us, so maybe we'll take out our pandas," he added in a phone interview Thursday. The pandas at the Memphis Zoo were separated in April, and those at the San Diego Zoo in 2019. Following its departure from the National Zoo in December, giant panda fans will have head to Georgia admire the black and white bear pair at Zoo Atlanta. Under agreement negotiated by Zoo, pandas must leave in 2024. And as of April there had been no discussions about renewing agreement. Pandas have held symbolic importance in US China relations since 1972. When President Richard M. Nixon made a historic visit to Communist China and Chinese Premier Zhou Enlai offered 2 giant pandas to First Lady Pat Nixon. The visit ended at Washington's zoo. This was a sign of improving ties between Beijing and the rest of the world. Tan said, China has also acknowledged role of pandas its diplomacy past a decade ago. Chinese ambassador to US Cui Tiankai wrote an op-ed The Washington Post. There are actually 2 Chinese ambassadors Washington Me and Panda Cub at National Zoo. In First Lady Pat Nixon travels and visits a giant panda settlement in China in February 1972. And pandas mean a lot even to those who are not interested in politics. The National Zoo's giant pandas Mei Xiang Tian Tian have fascinated visitors for years. And in recent days scores of visitors have been coming to honor the pandas their 3-year-old male cub, Xiao Qi Ji, before they head to China. Some people were moved to tears as they watched him on his last day at Ueno Zoo in Tokyo. Reported. In addition to taking an emotional toll on visitors, the panda's departure could also be fina.